A very warm welcome back to my new golf video. Today is all about how you can always, and as simply as possible, come from the inside to the ball. And to get that inside path to the ball, I want to jump right in. It's very, very important that you have the right arm structure. What is the correct arm structure? The correct arm structure means your left arm, which we'll start with, should be rotated 45 degrees inward. That's 0, that's 90, and that's 45 degrees. And when you're hitting with the driver, it's very, very important that the 45 degrees happen right here where your hand grips the club handle. So not here, but right here. Because even with the driver, the club shaft should be pointing straight up. So the left arm is rotated 45 degrees inward to come from the inside every time to compensate for the slice and to hit longer drives. And you're probably wondering right now, okay, left arm, got it, 45 degrees is fine, but what does the right arm actually do? And yes, you're right, the right arm also has to be positioned correctly. The right arm is perhaps even more important than the left arm. Because only if your right arm is correctly placed in the setup can you get your elbow into position during the downswing. But I'll go into more detail on that in a moment. Your right arm is correctly positioned when your upper arm is rotated outward as much as possible and your forearm is pronated while the upper arm stays in place. You can supinate and pronate the forearm separately from the upper arm. And I want you to rotate the upper arm externally and pronate the forearm as much as possible. Because then you're in the right position. In the right position to come at the ball from the inside. And why is that? Because here it is, when your arm, especially your right arm, is in this position, your elbow is perfectly placed during the backswing. Perfect means it's down here. And if the elbow is down here, then you're able to bring the elbow in beautifully in front during the downswing. Most of my students grip the golf club differently, like this. I think you were also told once that it's important to see two knuckles on the left and the V formed on the right. Placing the thumb and index finger somewhere between the center of the body and the right shoulder. Yeah, that's actually correct, isn't it? Not quite. Because the upper arm isn't rotated outward enough, which then I'll just keep my arm like this, which then causes my elbow to move further back during the backswing. And that gives me the opportunity to push my club. Specifically the club grip forward. And just like that, I'm coming at the ball from too far outside. That means if you want to come at the ball from the inside in the future, every time, and as easily as possible, then first of all, point 1, pay attention to the correct arm structure. With the club in the right position, the left arm is rotated 45 degrees inward. And for the right arm, the upper arm is rotated in, and the forearm is maximally pronated. I had to think for a second because rotated in is actually wrong. The upper arm is actually rotated outward as much as possible. However, that brings the elbow inward. Yeah, I think you know what I mean. So hole 1, par 4, how long is it? 374 meters. And I have to come from the inside. 45 degrees, get the upper arm and forearm into position. And with that, I should now be able to come at the ball from the inside. Yeah, that's a very, very good drive on this hole. And all regular viewers know I get a bit nervous before this hole because this drive isn't easy for me. So there are only 90 meters left. 90 meters means a small gap wedge for me, and small in the sense that I swing smoothly and don't take such a big backswing. Come on, get over there, buddy. Yeah, I hope you can see it on camera. Yeah, it was too long. Great, I thought that was perfect to be honest, but no. It's too long and bounced over the back of the green. And so even after that successful drive, after that successful tee shot, I'm still left with a little chip using the 56-degree sand wedge. That should, but not roll out that far. I thought once again that it was perfect, and now it's rolling 3, 4, 5 meters past the hole. Bravo, what is this today? That makes the putt much longer than expected, much longer than I'd hoped. And that's despite the fact that I was actually really happy with all 3 shots. But oh well, if you take 10 shots per hole, even if they're all good shots, it's still too many shots. Wow, that's a bad putt. And with that, an undeserved bogey on the first hole. But anyway, it's about the point of how you always come at the ball from the inside. And I've hopefully already shown you that. Now we'll move on to the second very, very, very important point. When it comes to getting to the ball from the inside as easily as possible, my job is to teach you and my students the simplest golf swing. And I just want to teach the simplest golf swing. And so that you can always come at the ball from the inside without having to make any crazy movements. With your arm or your hands, it's very, very important that you place your left arm correctly during the backswing. What do I mean by that? The left arm is correctly placed when it's at a 30-degree angle to the, and this represents the target line, to the target line. That would be 45 degrees, and that would be 0 degrees. Most of my students who come to me swing back with a straight left arm because they suspect or know that it's important, but they still don't get the left arm into a correct position. What do I mean by that? The left arm can be straight, but in this position, it's clearly too far forward. Because if I were to swing toward the ball now, whoop, my hands would go outward, and I would come at the ball from too far outside. That means it's incredibly important that the left arm isn't just straight, no, it should also be 30 degrees. Offset to the back at the moment when your left arm is parallel to the ground. Because if you go a bit higher up, you can certainly shift the position a little more. But if the left arm is parallel to the ground during the backswing, as in the follow-through, then please have your left arm placed 30 degrees offset to the inside. Because only then are you able to repeatedly come at the ball from the inside as easily as possible. And that is the topic of today's video. Because I believe, as I said, most golfers suffer from pulls, shots that go straight left, from slices, from balls that basically curve to the right, or for example, also from topped shots. Because that too can be the reason for topped shots. A poorly placed left arm, a bad swing direction, an incorrect swing path. And so that in the future, you please no longer come to the ball from too far outside, you go and place an alignment stick here at a 30-degree angle to your ball target line the next time you're on the driving range. And your only goal should be to bring the left arm exactly into this position. Because then you'll likely be able to consistently come at the ball from the inside from now on. That means you won't hit any more pulls, any more slices, and no more topped shots. And that's actually really cool, right? Moving on now to a short 316-meter par 4. First of all, I'm taking care of the correct arm structure again. Rotate 45 degrees outward and pronate. And then I go and only think about placing my left arm 30 degrees back, offset to the inside. Because with that, the draw comes in all by itself. There it is, the little push draw along the right side of the fairway. So shot 2 is just a very small pitch with a lob wedge. Shout out to Mario. He motivated me to work more with the 60-degree lob wedge again. How close can I get this thing to the pin, is the question. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad at all. Putt for birdie. It should break gently and gradually from right to left. Okay, why won't you go in the hole, my little friend? And so, unfortunately, only the par, in quotes. So with the right arm structure and the right backswing, it now only takes one single thing to consistently come at the ball from the inside. And this is about the hips, about the correct positioning of the hips. What do I mean by placing the hips correctly? By placing the hips correctly, I really only mean one thing. I'd like to ask you to go into your setup, keep your head as still as possible, and then push your pelvis to the left toward the target. Because by doing that, you close off exactly this area here, which would be very open in this position, and that in turn forces you, as far as your hands and arms are concerned, to swing further outward, or at least it feels that way, even though the right, correct swing, as we all know, is from the inside to the inside. But I definitely don't want to see the hands pulling too early over here, that is, to the left. And that's common practice for most golfers. It's due, among other things, yes, exactly, you probably already feared it, to poor arm structure, to a poor backswing movement, or even to an incorrectly placed pelvis in the setup. And if you can rule out these 3 points, then I can promise you, you'll come from the inside to the ball every time and as easily as possible. Please pay attention to the correct arm structure. Please pay attention to your hips in the setup. Those are the 2 points you should work through in the static position. And then, last but not least, make sure that your left arm is always placed correctly, that is properly. Correct isn't just stretched out, but offset 30 degrees inward. And if you take these 3 points to heart, then I'm sure you'll, as I said, come from the inside to the ball every time, and it won't even be difficult for you, to be honest. 120 meters are left. I've decided on a gap wedge. The pelvis goes forward, the head stays where it is. The left arm goes into position, and the ball is 3 meters short. A pity, really. Somehow it's just not meant to be today, I feel. But I hope you can still take away a thing or two. Because today is all about how you can come from the inside to the ball as easily as possible. And it's not about me breaking the course record here, but that video will also be coming back again. Don't worry. So, putting here for birdie, although naturally that is of course a bit of a long shot because the putt is still at this stage significantly longer than what was originally hoped for. Come on. Oh yes, I'll gladly take that. A lucky birdie. And all of that with the right arm structure, with the right setup, and the right backswing movement. These 3 points are exactly the 3 points that you should take to heart in order to get to the ball from the inside as easily and repeatably as possible in the future. The last hole of the day today is a short par for 263 meters. It goes very, very steeply downhill though, so don't be surprised. I only have a 4-iron in my hand because I just have the feeling that going too long is really not an option on this hole. So 4-iron for me. The ball should come to rest somewhere in front of the green. Arm structure is important, pelvis forward is important, and now it's about placing the left arm correctly. 30 degrees inward is how it should be offset. Yes, and that is the ideal direction, ladies and gentlemen. And with that, now to our left, it's probably in the bunker. I have a 60-degree lob wedge in my hand and very little room on the green. Yeah. But honestly, I'll take that outcome any day of the week. The flag is out and the ball is hopefully in the hole. Sometimes that's just how it goes. Putt for birdie on the last hole of the day. A short putt, slightly downhill, but it's definitely doable. Yes. And with that, I'll say goodbye with 2 birdies in a row. Finally, I'd like to thank you very much for watching, as always. Please don't forget to leave a comment on how you like this video. And maybe write down below, what kind of topic you'd like to see in the future. Because that would personally, interest me. What would you like to see in the future? And that's it for today. On that note, I wish you a very pleasant evening and a great round of golf. See you soon.